Q&A with me, Leigh Hicks, here in Hicksy's garage. Yes, that's right. I have started to do these lives in my garage with my car, because it's my little hideaway. It's very important for everybody, be it male or female, to have their own little hideaway. Yes, I'm very fortunate in the fact that we have a workshop that is fully equipped and has some of our cars there and all the customers' cars, but right here, this is my space, and I feel it's a good space that I'm able to chat with you guys as well. So if you are here, if you are live, if you are watching, please feel free to get down in the comments, say hello, let us know who you are, where you're from, what you're driving, if you've been traveling recently, if you've been working on your van recently. It's always good to get you guys down in the comments to see who we're chatting to and to see who's listening on a Sunday evening at 7 p.m. So first of all, straight off the bat, we've got Danny Sykes. He's coming and says, good evening, Leigh. Good evening, Danny. James, he's in, he says, good evening, Leigh. Good evening, guys. How are you doing? It's been quite the time since we've seen you last. Gosh, how long has it been now? Probably maybe a month or two since we last spoke, and there has been a lot go on. Oh, we've had Fireblade 900 in. He says, hi Leigh. Hi, how's it going? Good to have you in and in the chat as well. Yeah, it's been a crazy couple of weeks, couple of months even. And one of the things I've been battling with in this garage, for example, is water. I have done a bit of filming on it, whether it turns out to be actually a video as such. But what we have here at my house is a prefab concrete garage with just like a corrugated roof, and in its unkempt state, when I moved in, it had lots of dirt built up and everything else. We've been battling, making sure this little baby behind us stays nice and dry, as well as all my tools that you can't actually see right now. So I've got some tools here. I've got some engines down there and a shelving rack full of parts as well for the Beetle. Yes, we've been trying our hardest to get this place done in the evenings. That's as well as do all the events, as well as do Slough Swap Meet that we've done recently as well. Loads of stuff going on. But first of all, how are you guys? What are you up to? Where are you messaging from? Like I said earlier, it's very good to have everybody just get down in the chat and say hello and how are you? We've also had Scotty78, he says evening. We've had Fireblade 900, he's in and he says, I have a 2005, oh wow, the comments coming in, 1 second. I have a T5 2006 2.5 van, very nice too. King Movies 4482, which is actually King Dom. He says, good evening, Leigh. I hope you're well. It's Dom of Kingdom Images. Good evening, sir. We actually met in person at Slough Swap Meet a couple of weeks ago, so it was very nice to meet Dom and actually put a name to a face as well. So doing this sort of thing online is always really good fun, but when you're actually out there at events, seeing people, meeting people, it's great to actually put real names to real faces. And yeah, building that level of relationship, building that level of community up a bit more. So yeah, that's all fun. Tony's in. He says, evening people. Good evening, Tony. If you don't remember, in one of our last, in fact, I think it was our last live, we did let everybody know that we are going to be starting our podcast again soon. And your man there, Tony, Lost in the VW, he is going to be one of my co-hosts, which is going to be fantastic. And we've been very busy bees working in the background doing sound tests, mic tests, camera tests and everything else. We've still got a bit more of that to go, but we will be starting that very soon, so look forward to that. Who else have we got in the comments? Danny Sykes, he says, sold my T5 a couple of months ago and went down the motorhome route. I've since found out they take a lot more maintenance and looking after. Yes, I'm sure they do, because they're effectively a fabricated motorhome on a vehicle chassis. So not only have you got the vehicle maintenance, you've then got the structure and all the utility maintenance as well. So yeah, be interested to hear more about that, Danny. Goggy is in, motivates as well. Hello homies and homerettes. Fireblades is here at Wembley Stadium. Wembley Stadium. Are you staying there? Are you living there? That's quite good. And we have Warren in as well, saying, what up, folks? Warren is our other co-host to our up and coming podcast as well. And if you didn't catch that before, Warren, I was just explaining that, yes, in the background, we've been doing lots of quite hilarious video tests and Skype or Zoom or whatever it is, whichever way we can figure out how to do these podcasts for you guys coming forward. There's been moments of hilarity, actually, because much like Instagram and TikTok and things like that do filters, did you know that Zoom and Skype have things like filters as well? That is so funny, and we had quite a giggle about that. But one of the regular questions we ask, and regular listeners / watchers will know, is what are you drinking tonight? I have a cup of coffee this evening. I've been very fortunate in that I have just been held a nice little family party get together because this weekend it's the last weekend I'm going to kind of see all my family before we do Campers and Coffee and then head over to Poland for Christmas. So I had like a nice little impromptu 40th birthday party with my family this evening. Might be why you see my eyes maybe a little bit sleepy, but yes, definitely a coffee straight away. So what are you drinking? Are you alcoholic tonight? Are you warm and toasty tonight? Let me know down in the comments what you guys are drinking. James says, when are we getting more 2K T5 content? That's a very, very good question. And that is coming up very, very soon. What was the last thing we did for the 2K T5? Let me think. Gosh. Oh, probably one of the videos was what the heck are we doing with the 2K T5? But just as a bit of a news update for you people who are watching the live, we have just had the rock and roll bed for the 2K T5 delivered, and it is a brand new rock and roll bed, and I cannot wait to show you. I'm not going to let out all the information just yet because we will most probably be filming that in the new year. But don't worry, we have got plenty of 2K T5 coming because we are doing a tailgate swap and a how-to. We're going to be doing bodywork, and we're doing a very basic overview of bodywork on the 2K T5. We're going to be doing more mechanical. We're going to be doing sound deadening with a brand new Easy Range from Dodo. We're going to be doing electrics. We are going to be doing a pop top. We are going to be doing furniture. And we've got so many companies all coming together to help us out to bring out basically a brand new range of DIY furniture and everything else to be able to enable you to build your own camper van, which is fantastic. So yes, it's been good. Right, back to the comments real quick. Scotty78, he says, I have issues with my T6 battery going flat after 2 to 3 weeks when not using the van. Is this a common problem? I have replaced the battery but still getting the same issue. Now, with any vehicle, the best thing you can do is use them as often as possible. Leaving any vehicle for 2-3 weeks at a time isn't generally good practice. If you can get away, even to do a shop run, even if it's to take the kids to football, even if it's to go, take the kids swimming once a week, or whatever it is, if you can get to at least use that vehicle once a week, it will do so much benefit for that vehicle. I can say the best advice. Generally, I don't do that best advice. My own personal classic van, for example, has been sat for about 3-4 weeks, but I'm breaking it out of hibernation this week to do that. Actually start using it again this week before we have a trip this weekend for Campers and Coffee. What you will find is with modern vehicles do have a lot of ECUs and maybe an alarm system or even a modern tracking system that may need at least some voltage at all times. And so if you are leaving it for 2-3 weeks at a time, you might find that battery may discharge just enough to dip below just enough the right amount of voltage for the ECUs and the cranking of the starter motor as well. But if you are finding you're leaving it for 2-3 weeks at a time, maybe you can rig up some sort of very simple and very cheap trickle charge system for your vehicle. So it's basically one of these very simple trickle charge boxes that you plug into the mains, and you just use the big terminal clamps or crocodile clips that then clip onto those positive and negative battery terminals, continuously monitor the battery, and the moment they see that battery dip down, they will then just top it back up nice and gently. That is obviously if you are able to leave a charger on. or if you are leaving it for longer periods of time, you could make preparations to do that. You could maybe disconnect the battery, or if you have a leisure electric system hung off the back of that battery, keep an eye on the equipment that connects the vehicle battery to the leisure battery, or maybe even connect a kill switch. Alternatively, if you do have a leisure battery system and even maybe a solar system, there are MPPT controllers that enable you to, once you have charged your leisure battery fully, then divert that charge to the vehicle battery. And we have installed that on 1 or 2 vans in the past as well. Motivate Goggy says, I've got an annoying leak and a passenger door in the foot area. I have been told it's possibly the door card. I have something in the door, question mark. Have you come across this? Is there a fix? Generally this time of year, leaks are due to obviously the excess rain in the weather, but dirt and detritus in seals. So when was the last time you checked the cleanliness or effectiveness of the door seals and the rubber seals around all of your openings? You may find that there might just be a tiny speck of dirt or a pine needle or something that's just making the break in that rubber seal just not work as it should do. So it's a good idea to clean the metalwork of the door surface and the rubber of the door as well to ensure that your seals are working effectively. It could also be something to do with your windscreen, because older T5s or T5s that may have had a windscreen replacement in the past, you may have had, I'm not going to say a bad windscreen fitter, but maybe a windscreen fitter has maybe missed out just a touch of sealant, or they didn't pop the windscreen in properly, and window seals, replacement windscreens can sometimes leak, so that is something to check as well. Fireblade has replied to my last question regarding him living in Wembley, and he says, I live here. Unfortunately, ULEZ area is $12.50 a day to use my van. Working to finish it as a camper. Best van I've had, good quality van. Look forward to fit a diesel heater. Wonderful job, nice one. Alex Cook says, evening Leigh, on the red wine. Nice job, sir. Started putting a Den Duo on the floor this afternoon before it comes to you in February. You make it look so much easier than it is. Sorry, but well done doing it on your own. Yes, if you get to do a job every day, you do make it look easy if you were then to put it out on camera, admittedly so, but I have sound deadened and insulated hundreds of vehicles, so yes, when it comes to putting it on camera, I must admit, even watching it back, it does look quite easy when I show it. But I'm not going to make an apology for it. Michael Littler says, I am drinking tea. I had too much alcohol last night. Quite a sensible move then, Michael. Mark T says, evening guys, I'm a newbie to the VW Transporter community, working out my day van plan. Nice work. And welcome to the community as well, Mark T. I hope you find a place with us, that's for sure. Overland Adventurer says, have you any advice for a good option for a small van to self-build into a camper on a 5K budget? I keep thinking a Caddy Maxi. Please let me know down in the comments. I don't know what's going on, but it looks like we might have a connection issue. I have made sure my router is visible to my phone from my garage, but please let me know if there is a dip in quality there. Right, back to my question. Small van, self-build, camper van, 5K budget. Yes, so there are plenty of vans out there. Don't forget, I actually bought our latest 2K T5 for £2,000. That is a long wheelbase VW Transporter. If you're not too precious about the type of vehicle you have, the brand of vehicle you have, you can actually have a lot of bargains out there, especially in the small van range. And you can be talking Renault bargains out there, especially in the small van range. And you can be talking Renault Kangoos, dispatch vans. Is it Renault Dispatch? Dispatch vans. Is it Renault Dispatch or something similar? No, Citroen Dispatch, Renault Kangoos, VW Caddies, Ford Connects, things like that as well. They are all brilliant, and they're all very, very good starter vans as well. And even having a 5K budget is a very, very good budget to have as well. Because when it comes down to small vans, they teach you how to live and travel on a budget and how to build on a budget, and they will also teach you what you do need and don't need when it comes to your equipment or utility level. And a lot of people make the mistake of going, yes, I've got 30, 40 grand to blow on a T5, T6 and then do the interior, etc., etc. They build their van and then they realise, I don't drive or use my van like the way I designed, because they haven't worked up to, say, a 40 grand van. They've just gone straight in and then realised they don't actually utilise the van the way that it has been built or designed. So, yes, Transit Connects, VW Caddies, Kangoos, dispatches, all those sorts of things. Or if you are lucky, you might find yourself a medium-sized van such as a custom transporter, Vivaro. You might find one of those for good money. Now, between now and sort of end of January is the time to buy a van, because people are wanting to shift stuff they don't necessarily need to afford Christmas, or in the new year they're looking forward to shift stuff they don't necessarily need to pay off their credit card bills because Christmas was so expensive, or people are looking forward to their summer holidays, need a bit of cash in after Christmas as selling the luxurious items or the things they don't need. So now is the right time to buy a van or camper, that is for sure. Urban Arc Overland, Anchorman style. If I say anything in the auto queue, would you say it? Humbug. Sure, why not? Give it a go. Try me. Scotty78, is it a camper? Is it the leisure battery or van? Very good question, Warren. Ross is in. He says hi. Good evening, Ross. We've just been doing a bit on Ross's van this weekend. G is in as well. He says, evening, Chief. Good evening, sir. Fireblade 900 says, your vids are brilliant, very accurate info, very professionally done. Well, thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say. We certainly have a good time making them, and it's even better knowing that you guys and everybody else have watched them and actually built a vehicle or contributed to your vehicle using them. Overland says, you're back again, haha, yes. Tony says, stumbled a little on connection, you took a massive swig of your coffee. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I don't quite know why. I can see that all the doors, windows and everything are open towards my router. I don't know why my router's not fantastic. So I have to make sure that in the distance, where there's at least some windows open so it can reach the garden. I do need to sort out boosters. Maybe Tony and Warren or anybody else, if you know anything about signal boosters, help me out, please. Tony says, I've known a few who love their Kangoo, seem deceptively spacious too. Yes, absolutely. Overland Adventure says, cheers for the suggestions, bud. Not a problem. Tony says the ex-gas vans were popular. To bring the budget down, look for larger companies defleeting at the auctions. Yes, absolutely. So, yeah, like I say, you can get some bargains. You can get some bargains if you look. You can, and even when it comes to the larger or medium-sized vans as well. I found the 2KT5 on a complete off chance. I bumped into a fella at an unofficial car meet in a supermarket car park, and I was just chatting, as you do. I said, yeah, I'm selling mine to look for a van. He said, my dad's selling a van. How much is he selling it for? About £2,000. Take my money, please. I will buy a T5 for £2,000 all day, especially a running one. So yes, that was very, very fortunate. And you can find them out there as well. And then using our videos and other people's videos out there, you can definitely build a van on a budget as well. You don't have to build, you don't need much of a budget at all to build a van. You've just got to be very, very resourceful, and you've got to know how to turn a spanner or two, basically. Oh, Scott is replying to Warren. He says, it is a camper van, but the battery goes flat. My power is off a power bank, so it is connected to the van battery in any way. Yeah, that's going to be a difficult one. I think what you need to do, Scotty, is make moves to search for a parasitic drain. Now, there are videos out there on how you should go about that, but in essence, you need to remove all the fuses from your van and keep an eye on, I want to say resistance, but it's not. It's the amps on the battery. I can't, do you know what? Brain's a bit fuzzy. But basically, there are tests out there using a simple multimeter to do a parasitic test. So what you're testing for is voltage at the battery or an amp draw at the battery. So you would check the amps, or you would check the draw of the battery, then pop a fuse in, for example, see if the voltage goes up or down, and keep putting fuses in or taking fuses out, vice versa, until you find a difference in your reading. Then you know which circuit is actually drawing power from the battery when it shouldn't be necessarily. Who knows, you might find you have an aftermarket stereo that somebody might have wired in incorrectly. You might have a reversing camera or reversing sensors, or a dash cam that somebody might have fitted slightly incorrectly, or there might be a drain somewhere, or there might be a bad earth somewhere, all of these things. But yes, you would have to find the source of the drain. You would systematically have to go through all of the circuits using a test for parasitic drain, pulling fuses, etc., etc. All right. A simple test actually is, in fact, that wouldn't work on a more modern car because you have ECUs and things drawing voltage anyway. But one of the older, before ECUs and things like that, one of the older tests was you remove the terminals from the battery, and you turn everything off. Stereo, wipers, indicators, lights, everything. You turn everything off, and then if you actually hear a click or a spark when you put your battery terminal back on, you know that something somewhere is drawing voltage. Scotty says there is a tow bar fitted. Could that cause it? It could. It shouldn't, but it could be. Your tow bar wiring, if it's just for the lights, if your wiring is just for the lights, is effectively just an extension of your lighting loom. However, on more modern vans, that is included in the CAN bus system, if I'm not correct. So there are slightly different things that you need to look out for. We don't fit tow bars to modern vans because it's not something we do every day, and there's a company just down the road that fits them for modern vans day in, day out. But it quite possibly could be worth looking into, that is for sure. Gosh, I'm gonna have another swig of my coffee, I think. So, who has been doing any work on their camper vans this weekend? I know there are some friends of mine that have been doing some work on their camper vans this weekend. The only thing I have been able to do on any of my personal gear this weekend is actually bring that thing back into the garage. Like I said at the top of the video, I have been trying my hardest to make sure that this place is waterproof. So as such, all of the stuff has just been in a line down the centre of the garage so I can walk around on waterproof using the, in fact, the tub down here, what's it called? KA tanking slurry I've been putting around the base of the garage. I've been putting this KA tanking slurry around the base of the garage, and through illness and workload and everything else over the past few weeks, I haven't had the chance to finish it. But the garage is at a point that it is way more waterproof than it was. So I sorted out all the garage, all the tools behind where you are facing me right now. They have all gone. Sorry, not gone, they've all been put back into place, and the bug is now back in and dry. In fact, I did do one thing on the bug actually, and that was when I opened the door to release the handbrake to move it back in, I realised that the window seals are all completely cooked and have soaked the door cards. They're aftermarket ply door cards with the old Hicksy coffee sacks on anyway, so I literally unscrewed them and put them straight in the bin. They are done. Absolutely. Urban Arc Overland, he says, my friend has the same issue in a crafter that hasn't been converted yet. Yes, the parasitic drain. Yeah, unfortunately, the more modern electric cars have, there are more things to go wrong. That being said, older vehicles have wiring that still goes wrong too. So yes, doing testing and again, systematically doing the fault finding circuit by circuit is the best way to go about finding that drain for sure. G says, how's the bug coming along, Leigh? I missed the recent updates. It's very much as it is. However, I was able to get a couple of bits for it up at Slough Swap Meet, which was good. The one thing I have been searching for, actually, and here's one of them. OG bumper irons. There's one of the elusive bumper irons, because when I first got the Beeple, it had some very ratty old American towel rail style bumpers on, and they weren't actually mounted to the car properly. They were literally tack welded to the Nerf bars that are still on the car. So if you see just down here, the Nerf bars that are welded on, or that are mounted on, the towel rail bumpers were just tack welded to those. So through a couple of Facebook and eBay purchases, and then up at Slough I've been able to find me some good used bumper irons, and then up there in the corner for the eagle-eyed amongst you are some Europa bumpers as well. So I'm taking it back to OG, back to Europa bumpers, so that's been good. G says, I stripped my motor today, just down to the case, ready to clean and build new top end, then repair and paint all the tinware. Yes, that is the bit I cannot wait to do. If I show you right here, obviously you've seen that's engine number 1 that we're stripping, that's engine spares number 2, and all of this is spares and tinware, which is good. Oh, it's the rest of the toolbox, which is pretty empty because they're all old spares from work. Tripod, makeshift bench, and some old IKEA shelves. And this is basically, if you can see right here, that's basically the vision for the Bug. That's right, lowered alloys, roof rack. It's a bit 90s Cal look, but I still quite like it. What do you think? Tony says, I've moved the Christmas DVDs to a shelf in the van for the new van TV. Awesome. Yes, I've been watching Tony's build on his new shelving system. He's got a very certain style of his van, and he's created everything to sort of fit in within that theme, and it all looks perfect. And if you're coming to Cams and Coffee this coming weekend, then you will see it up there too. Overland Adventurer says, you'll probably find that on any modern vehicle, the battery will go flat after a few weeks due to the draws from the ECUs and alarm system, etc. As others have said, a small trickle charger or a solar. Yes, absolutely. Warren says, defo start at the latest things fitted, certainly if they are aftermarket or done by a third party. Yes, still on the parasitic drain problem. Overland Adventurer says, solar system that can backflow power to your starter battery when your aux is full, with help, i.e. Renogy DC to DC, MPPT or CTEC or similar. Yes, that's exactly what we were talking about earlier. We fitted very similar NPPTs in the past, and they are very effective. Michael Littler says, my T4 is poorly, goes to garage tomorrow. Mechanic thinks could be injectors, but I've been putting up wires in for new night heater. Nice work. Yeah, T4s, they are battle axes, but they are battle axes and will keep going as long as you do the basic and preventative maintenance. And it sounds like you're probably doing that, Michael, so nice work. Free man by nature, hard of hearing. Your voice goes quieter when you walk away from the camera. My apologies. Yes, it's a bad habit of mine that I will do this and talk about something and completely forget that the mic is here. I'm normally, when I'm doing stuff on my own, wearing these and the mic is in there. And again, this is going to be moving forward in the progress. I will be wearing a mic, a lapel mic, and that then plugs into the bottom of my phone. And Ali, our cameraman, absolutely hates it as well, because if you've noticed on some of our videos, you may or may not have noticed, but I'm wearing a tiny little lapel mic that sort of sits here. And what I do, I will talk to the camera and then turn around and point to something and talk about it, and then come back, and Ali then has an absolute pop at me because I am messing with his levels and I'm talking like that and talking. So he says, Leigh, just look at the camera and talk to me at the camera. So it is quite funny. Yeah, absolutely. So my apologies, Freeman. Freeman or Freeman by nature. I will try my hardest. Motivate says, don't forget to hit the like button, dudes. Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much. If you are watching this, if you are enjoying the content, if you do like our YouTube channel, whatever that might be, please be sure to hit the like button. It's somewhere in the description for this video. It really helps us out. It helps us out as a video, helps us out as creators, and it helps me just grow the channel, bring more stuff to you guys as well, because it's my favorite part of the job. It's my favorite part of the job is making these videos for you, with you. And on that note, I guess somebody's already asked about the YouTube channel and the 2K T5 in particular. Are there any cars that you guys are looking forward to seeing in the future. Obviously, we've got Bully, my Type 25. The most recent thing we've done on that is fit the diesel heater, and that was a good video. That actually went down really well. We've done a customs vehicle. We did the combi seat fitting on that last week before. We've been on the Bay, and we got the engine started for the Bay. That was a really good one. But if there are any other videos or subjects you would like us to cover, then please do let me know. It's through your feedback and your suggestions that we can then create more content, come up with more plans, projects, etc. moving forward as well. So before that, or in the meantime, what have you guys been up to this weekend? I myself, we have, what did we do yesterday? Yesterday was pretty much getting on with some projects outside of work. I haven't been the best lately in terms of my health, only because we've had flu and pneumonia ripped through my household from the top through to the bottom over the last 4 to 6 weeks. So that's why there isn't a video this week, because I have been on my arse all this week. Just haven't had the time to film a video this week. So that's why we don't have one. That's why I'm doing a live instead. So yeah, that's where we're at. Right. Overland says, maybe, oh, sorry, let's go back to that. Because Freeman says, you are forgiven, thank you. Glad you and your sound man get on well. Michael Littler says, sorry, got to go now, Leigh. Sorry, catch you next time. No worries, Michael. Nice to have you in the chat. Thank you very much. Overlander says, maybe a Caddy Maxi or Transit Connect would be an interesting one. Options of layouts. Yes, absolutely, because there are a multitude of layouts. We actually have a huge customer base that have things like Caddy Maxis and stuff like that, and it's always very interesting to see their layouts and options for interior. King Dom says, how's the Bay doing? The Bay is doing very, very well, actually. I was able to pretty it up a little bit with some of the parts that I bought from Slough Swap Meet the other day. So I had two main options to go to Slough, and that was to get rid of a lot of stuff for cheap and buy a lot of stuff for cheap. And thankfully, through help of my friend and through lots of hard work, we're able to do both. So I've got some dome hubcaps, I've got window seals, I've got welding parts and all sorts of stuff for the bay window. So there's lots of stuff coming up to keep us all interested and amused, which is brilliant. But apart from its current state, I did swap 2 of the tyres round for 2 good used tyres I had, just to make it easier as a rolling van. But yeah, I think I might actually have to do some of that in the new year moving forward. It's the engine that's going to be the next thing that we need to get up and running in its new layout, from a pancake motor to an upright motor, and I look forward to getting on with that project, that's for sure. Goggy Motivate, he says, what size plywood is recommended for interior furniture? Now, generally, people would use a lightweight 15mm ply. And when I say lightweight, generally, camper van interior manufacturers choose to keep the weight down by using a lightweight ply, and 15mm laminated ply or veneered ply is actually the go-to. So a lot of the T-trims you see, the hinges, door catches, etc., they're all designed to fit a 15mm ply. So I hope that helps. Freeman by Nature says, RT4 has stood for 4 years. What condition will the diesel be in? Now, you will be surprised, actually, because diesel doesn't have a shelf life like modern petrol does. But it is worth at least changing the filter. Depending on how much diesel's in there, you may find you have some moisture in there as well. I mean, if you wanted to be completely safe, drop the tank and drain it. That's the only way you can guarantee that you won't be letting in any detritus into your fuel system. However, the T4, for example, has a huge filter on the diesel side, so generally you can run, I mean, these things run on chip fat, and used oil, for God's sake. So generally, it's not going to be too bad. However, the one thing that could hinder you is water in the diesel. So please be aware of that. King Dom says, doing the house recently, but my Touch Me 5 is going to be getting a much needed light upgrade from CBC. Are you going square lamps, or are you going the South African lamps, or is that just a new wiring loom there, Dom? Freeman says, we hope to start replacing the interior this year. We hope to start replacing the interior this year. It ran perfectly when we put her away. So yeah, generally, like I say, diesel shouldn't be too much of a problem. Keep an eye on it. Maybe once you've got her up and running, get all the filters changed and everything else. That's always good practice anyway, but get the filters changed. And if you just get driving it. Get driving it, then the moment you can use that diesel that may well have been in the tank, then maybe once you know that diesel has gone and run through the system, then maybe change the filter again. The beauty is the filters on the diesel systems on T4s are quite easy to replace, that is for sure. Motivate says, I've decided to go with a U-shape interior as opposed to the traditional format. So to have a huge bed and a sweet chill out area, and I'm about to get materials and tools. I have 1.5 inch ply. 1.5 inch ply is going to be colossal. 1.5 inch ply. Yeah, that's surely not. Hang on, I've got to get a tape measure now if I can find one. I don't have a measuring device, hang on. That's not a good look, is it? It must be in the house. 1.5 inch ply. No, you need like a 15mm ply. That's for sure. Damn, I'm out of coffee already. I'll be back. I'm going to see if I can find a ruler. Right. Aha. Actually, Motivate says, yeah, 1.5 inch and it's birch, heavy and thick. I think you might be overkilling it there a bit, my man. G3, so 38mm. Yeah, that's colossal. G3 says, what carb would you recommend to replace my Peerberg carb on my T2583? That's a very good question. I would suggest only replace it if you have gone through all options on your Peerberg. If it's... Hang on, sorry, I've just seen another comment at the same time. I shouldn't try and read two comments whilst I'm answering another. Right, what carb would you recommend to replace my Peerberg? Straight off the bat, I couldn't recommend one because I've never replaced a Peerberg on a T25. That might be one to hit the forums for like Club 8090 and stuff like that, for that one in particular. But what is it, G3, that is killing you on your carb? Is it just not playing? Can you not get the rebuild kit? Because Peerbergs generally aren't that... they're great. If you can get them running right, they're great. Yeah. If you've exhausted everything, don't replace, unless you've exhausted everything, don't replace it. But if you have exhausted everything, I can completely understand why you want to get rid of it. But in terms of the exact replacement, you might find you want to go for a slightly bigger carb. If you're towing, if you've got a high top, if you've got a particularly heavy interior, it might be worth hitting the forums for that answer, my man, because I wouldn't be the best person in this instance. Dom says, replacing my old square lights to non-knackered new square lights. Well, that's a fair point. Motivate says, could I cut big holes in it to compensate for the weight? You could. However, if it's the only wood you can get, I understand. If it's down to a budget thing, I understand. However, in terms of time versus, you are going to save yourself so much more time if you're able to just buy the correct thickness plywood. because whatever 1.5 inch thick ply is, and I think Tony or somebody else commented it's 45 millimeters thick. That is 3 sets of 15 mil ply stuck together. It's colossal. That's like structural, if not thicker. I don't think I've ever seen a 1.5 inch thick piece of ply. Yes, you could cut big holes, but the tools, the bits and everything else that would take to save the weight, I would just go out there and buy a 15 or a 12 or an 18 millimeter plate as best you can. Otherwise you'll be doing yourself a disservice. Eric says, great with the live, but why in portrait format? Is this Facebook? I thought this is YouTube. Yes, I mean, I could. In fact, hold one there. I will show you why, Eric. Bear with us 1 second. Let me flip my phone sideways. Now, I've turned it off and it says, orientation is locked. Rotate device back. So, YouTube Live likes me to have it in this orientation. Don't ask me why, that'll be a YouTube question, but it is something I've explored before. But the moment I go to turn my phone round, it will go, don't, this is live in this format. Moving forward, I do want to do this live on a GoPro or on my laptop, which means the format will be slightly different. But in terms of just bringing you guys just some quick, clean, fresh content on my phone is super nice. You know, we've got a 4K camera, the sound is there, the connection is there. It just works for this, so my apologies. All right, Tony's replied to Motivate and says, depends also on your choice of building techniques. Pocket hole fixings are only really possible with larger thicknesses. 15 millimeter laminated or 18 millimeter hardwood faced. 12 millimeter is a struggle. Yeah, Tony's then said 45 millimeter, Leigh. Freeman says, thank you very much. All the best to you and yours. Motivate says, thanks. I'll take that advice like gospel. Don't take it like gospel, but believe me, I have been building vans every day for 8 years. I know a lot of the guys who come on this as well, they have been building everything, not just camper vans, for a long time as well. So yes, let's take their advice as well. 45 mil thick ply is far too much, that is for sure. G3's just coming back and said, when you bring about the podcast, new year. I'm not going to give you a date, but in the new year. And like I said right at the top of the video, it's actually Tony, Lost in the VW Hemans, who's in the chat right this second, and Warren, Silver Fox Builds, who's in the chat right now. They will be my brand new co-hosts. They are both experienced builders, they're experienced travelers, they're experienced van guys, and they are both extremely knowledgeable in their field and many others. So they are going to bring lots more to the table, and I cannot wait to start. We've spent the last month or so discussing everything we need to do, subject matter, discussion topics. We've been going through the equipment we might need, etc., etc. So yes, there is lots to look forward to moving forward as well. So thank you very much for asking. Gosh, we are 43 minutes in. Now, I am definitely stopping this bang on 8 o'clock tonight because allegedly my eldest daughter has a little bit of homework she needs a little bit of assistance with. So, yes, I am definitely going to have to smash this on the head at 8 o'clock on the button. But in the meantime, are there any further questions you would like to ask? So far, we have covered... Oh, what have we covered so far this evening? What are you drinking? Where are you from? We've had a couple of questions about the 2K T5. We've been discussing about the Bay. On our side, we have Camps and Coffee this week. It's going to be a lovely little exclusive Christmas do, effectively, this year. We're not going to do the same sort of format as we've had the last few years, whereas we're all going to a car park for a one-day event. We're actually going to a wonderful race car slash motor car slash motoring heritage themed pub called B Road at the Stag up near Ashford, and we're all having a sit down dinner and then a bit of a party afterwards, and then we're all staying at the venue overnight in our vans, which is going to be wonderful. It's going to be a lovely end to excuse me. And this is exactly why. It's going to be a lovely end to a very, very busy season. Yeah, I cannot wait. And what's crazy is the same weekend, it's my 40th, so that's going to be good fun. And then the day after the event, actually myself and my family, we are heading straight over to Europe. This is going to be wicked. We have got our Christmas with our family over in Poland, in Europe. And that is our little gateway to disappear for a couple of weeks, which would be a rather good fun. So yes, I very, very much look forward to that in the next week. But that means I've only got 5 days left to build vans and organise stuff and everything else. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. G3 says, just finished listening to season 1. Well, I'm glad you liked it. Well, I'm glad you finished the season anyway. You may not have liked it. That was a huge assumption on my part. But well done for listening to season 1. And G3 also says he's from the Isle of Wight. GW says, looking forward to the Christmas party. Me too, my man. Me too. It's going to be wonderful to see everybody one last time this year before we all part our ways ready for Christmas. Motivate Goggy says, ow, I worked in Ashford for 6 months near a truck stop saving the herpetological fauna. That's interesting. Explain. Divulge us with the information of what that word means there, Motivate, because I have no idea. Well, like I said, we're 45 minutes in already. This has gone super quick today. It's been wonderful to have you all in here. Obviously, it helps me to help you, to help you, to help me if you're commenting and you've got suggestions or you've got questions. So please feel free to keep those questions flowing, because it always helps me to sort of chat and have the content and subject matter that we can keep moving forward. There are, like I said, there's 19 of you in. It's been a lovely consistent number this evening. And if you are watching and you have found any of the content valuable, please make sure to give a thumbs up and a like somewhere around this video. Or if you haven't, leave a comment down below as well, because that's always helpful too. It's always lovely to see who's about and who's listening. We have lots of regulars on the live, which is fantastic. And I have grown friendships from the community that we have every week on the live. So yeah, it's really, really nice. Really, really nice. I love this part. I love the lives. It's great fun. So Motivates comes back. And phonetically, how would I say that? Herpetological fauna. And that means snakes and lizards and newts and slowworms, in brackets, legless lizards. That's rather interesting, actually. Isn't it funny? You leave school thinking I'm going to be X, and then sometimes it turns out you do Y. Maybe that's something you always wanted to get into there, my dude. That's for sure. Oh, super. So yes, moving forward this week, what have we got going on this week at the workshop? It's a week of T4s, actually. We have a week, we are finishing one T4 conversion off this week, and we are starting off another T4 conversion this week. And we're also doing some bits and pieces in between, things like diesel heaters and bed fittings and stuff as well. Eric says, please show the car in the background. Well, that one. This one here. That one. This is my 72 Beetle. And if you have a look back at some of the other lives that we've done in the past, we actually got this car running on the live. We did it in 1 hour, and we used, and for those of you who remember, we got this running with a bit of sandpaper, actually. A bit of sandpaper and some old lawnmower fuel. That's what it took to get this running after 2-3 years of slumber, so that was good fun. So this is the project I'm going to be working on. Would you like a closer look? So the engine is currently out of it and sitting right there. We are stripping it and cleaning it. And this is currently the car. It's a hideous green colour. Somebody might like it. I think it's Kawasaki green. It currently has no fuel tank in it. The fuel tank is sitting there. And it has a very interesting interior in that it's full of bamboo and sticker bombs and all that disgustingness. But it's going to be a cool little car. It's going to be a cool little car. It's going to be my daily. And it's just my little plaything at the moment, because although I build cars and camper vans every day, it's nice to have a car that it's kind of nice to have your own thing to come back to. I don't play musical instruments, I don't play any sports or anything else. I just like working with my hands and like playing with that. But if you take a look at the live and the playlists for lives, there are a series of videos on this one. We've done things like electrics, we've done the battery started, we've done engine removal. But this car originally I bought in lockdown for £2,000, and it was running driving car. And then since lockdown, it's sat waiting for this sort of time for either me to get a new house to move into to play with, or I get enough time at the workshop to play with it. It was lowered on MP8 with a roof rack and some towel rail bumpers. I hated the whole look. Sorry, I've just had a weird comment down below, just as I was reading that. I'm going to say that's some sort of spam, so I'm going to remove that comment from whoever DJ Smokey is. So yes, it was a project car, but like I say, on different wheels and tyres and a roof rack. And yeah, I'm just trying to make it into a little daily driver, because it's a little 1.2 litre single port motor, and my commute is anywhere between 12 and 15 miles a day, and that's all I'm going to need. It's all I'm going to need to take me to and from work, and take the kids to school on the way as well. So yeah, it's going to be a cool little car. And then once I get it sign written, or at least painted to look like that, it could be a nice little promotional car at the same time as well. So yes, I very much look to it. Do you have a project car, Eric? If so, what is it? Freeman says, hey, louder voice for a minute. Yes, indeed. I definitely need to get one of those mics, don't I? And if you are in the business at all, what mic would you recommend? Because I could go and get a lapel mic, which obviously is super beneficial. But I might like, because I use an iPhone for this, so I might look at the iPhone lapel mics as well. But unfortunately, without the headphone jack on an iPhone, your options are limited as well. So, 23 of you in right now, or 23 of you watching, you've got to have a question to ask me right now. We can talk about vans, van types, camper vans, camper van types, conversion questions, project car questions, YouTube questions, questions about me, questions about travel, questions about the business. You have got me for another 7 minutes and 15 seconds. So if there's any thinking, if there's any questions you would like to ask, then please feel free as well. That's not a problem at all. I'm going to get right. Super. G says, is there still a CVC heritage discount code? Yes, there is. It should be Coombe Valley 10. So if you use Coombe Valley 10 when you're ordering parts from Heritage Parts Centre, you should get yourself a 10% discount. Absolutely. I'm sure that should still be fine. They certainly haven't told me that it isn't about anymore, and we're doing more and more bits in the future with Heritage as well. And Heritage said they want to get on board with a little bug in the background. Right, let me just kick someone out there. Super. There we go. So I just had to remove a rather irritating person from the chat, jumping in with totally irrelevant comments or questions. And I have the power to do that. So you can keep going on, but you've now been timed out, my man. So there we go. Right, 6 more minutes. Has anybody got any other questions? If not, I shall stop the live right there. There's only so much of blabbing you want to hear me talk about. So yes, we'll give you another couple of minutes, and if you don't have any more questions, I shall bid you a farewell for today. So yes, like I say, we've got some bits and pieces moving forward this week. Oh, hang on, here we go. Eric, has come in and he said, cheers bud, which version of the VW Transporter do you prefer? T3, 4, 5 or question mark? T3 for me, I have always been a lover of the T3/T25. I've probably owned 20, 30 of them. So that is naturally my favourite, and I still own one of the first Type 25s I ever bought too. Warren says, have you fixed that jacket? No. Definitely not fixed this jacket. Still just as bad. I think we've just not got as much fluff. And it's even worse now when I caught it on something the other day. I just hold it quite well, or not. No, definitely my work jacket. Dom says, when are you next coming west for some VW shows? Good question. Probably the next one west is Run to the Sun, Newquay, and I just need to figure out which car I'm going to bring down there. Oh, Motivate says about the door card leaking. I think we spoke about that with the rubbers, didn't we, my man? Yeah, we spoke about it, Goggy. What needs replacing if it's the case of door card problem causing the leak? I don't think door cards leak. It's definitely a case of it'll be the door rubbers. It'll be the door rubbers that are leaking, because the door cards themselves on a T5, and it's cab doors, right? If it's the door cards that are the door cards won't have any impact on the actual water themselves, and they clip onto the door on the inside of the door, not the water side of the door. Three people shouted yes when you said you would get a better mic. Cheers. Yeah. Motivate says yes, the window sills are all gone. Yeah, Goggy, definitely have a look into the window sills, my man. And have a look at the cleanliness between the metalwork and the rubber seals, because it won't be the plastic door card that's the problem. It will be something to do with the many door seals on there. Who knows? It might even be a window seal. But yeah. Motivate says, I've cleaned the rubbers around the door. The other thing I did mention was windscreen as well. Have you looked into the windscreen seal as yet? Might be worth lifting the rubber cab mat or the cab mat and see where the leak source actually is. Or moving forward, if it is definitely the cab door card and we have missed it, if you've got any footage or pictures of that area when it's leaking, send us the photos and we can put it out there, or we can take a look ourselves, maybe even try and replicate the leak. Warren, Silver Fox Build says, my van collects water in the footwells. It's the rubber over the top of the doors. They are clipped and not stuck. Motivate says, windowsill, tell me more. Yes. Were you there when I spoke about the windscreen last time? What I said before was, your van may well have had a replacement windscreen in the past before your ownership. And what it might be is that your windscreen fitter back in the day may have missed something, therefore your windscreen seal might be corroded. Or what people do is, windscreen fitters can be a bit ham when it comes to scraping out the old window rubber material or the window seal material. So they get a metal scraper and they go all the way around the edge of the windscreen with a metal scraper, and what they're doing is actually gouging the paint, gouging the metal, creating a naked metal area. If they don't prep it properly or rust treat it properly, then they stick the bond on top without prepping it properly. What can then happen is the metal will rust, blow out, leak water in. So have a look at your windscreens at the same time as well. Eric says, great live. Well, thank you very much. We do have fun doing these. Like I said, it's one of the best parts of my job. Tony says, oh, hang on, I've missed a bit. Warren says, his van collects water in the footwells. It's the rubber over the top of the doors. They're clipped and not stuck, but it's a transit. Tony says, the T4 scuttle used to rot at the seals. Can the T5 do the same? Round the T5, round the screen of a T5 can. Like I said, if a previous fitter has gotten a hand with a scraper, can scratch the metal, then it rusts over time. Motivate says, I've checked the windscreen, it's original. Okay, so yes, if you send photos and or video of your leak moving forward, send them to us and I will then see if I can help a bit further. All right, so that is it. That is 8 o'clock on the nose. I am going to call it for tonight. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us once again. Like I said before, I absolutely bloody love doing these lives with you guys. It makes an hour of my day just go super, super quickly. But I am going to have to disappear right now. Like I said before, my daughter has a taxing homework question she needs my assistance with. I don't know why. My maths is absolute tat, so who knows? Maybe I should come on and live and say, guys, help me with the maths question, who knows? But once again, thank you very, very much. It's been wonderful to have you in here. Who knows, I may even be able to do a live from Germany next week. This time next week, hopefully we're in Germany at a Christmas market. Who knows? We shall see you then. For those who are going to Christmas Campus and Coffee, I shall see you on Saturday afternoon. Lots of love to you all. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.